What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back again with another 90-day fiancé video, and this one itself in particular is all about Bilal and Shaeeda. But before we get into it, let's start off by giving a big massive shout out to every single person that is a member of the channel, that is a member of Patreon, and that is a subscriber as we continue to grow. And with that being said, let's not waste any more time and let's get into it.
I was glad that uterus was sticking up for me. But I woke up this morning and I realized that it's not helping matters to antagonize Bilal, because that's not the way to get him to give me what I want. And what I want right now is to open a yoga studio and be a mother and start a family with Bilal. Too much sparkle. Bilal is working back at the hotel right now, so I'm meeting Uterus to go shopping. Because after what happened last night, I think we both need to have a conversation.
We continue like this and we won't find anything. Weird.
We're just looking, you know. I just wanted to come outside here so that we could talk.
Okay, I'm gonna apologize first, right? Because I did not mean for you to feel uncomfortable with your husband and your best friend, but I felt like he used some words that I did not like.
I feel like initially you were a little feisty and heated.
Really?
I'm a Caribbean woman. I understand that. That's how we are. But I realize American culture, they will take that as something that's offensive.
It's as if he swing the whole thing as if it was my fault, you know what I mean? And I was just like thinking, is he always like that? Does he do that with you sometimes?
You asked me a kind of tricky question here, Gail. Like even if him.
How is it a tricky question though? Does he do that with you, yes or no? It's not a tricky question. You should know. He's your man, right? You married him, right? You should know how he treats you.
And I have an argument, I feel like it's hard for me to get my point across because I felt like he deflects a lot.
This is what I mean, hon. And that's what I picked up on last night.
Even though Beatrice was so heated last night, Bilal can be difficult to deal with. After dinner, Bilal was angry, so we went to bed and there was no conversation.
He builds walls around him, like fortresses, and it's hard for you to get through that. I know we spoke about things on the phone and he told me there's a prenup and stuff like that.
He was like, you know, he's going to set up my business with a yoga studio. Remember I told you we put a timeline when we could have children.
And how do you feel about that?
Well, I went to the doctor. The doctor told me by the time I'm 40, there's going to be a 5% chance to get pregnant.
Are you serious? And what did Bilal say about this?
Since the doctor's visit, Bilal and we have never had a conversation of when are we.
Listen, you signed a contract. You married a guy, knowing full well that he wasn't committed to having a child anytime soon. So much you had to put that in the contract that he would at least give you a child at some point. You should have got checked before signing that prenup, before making the contract. But most importantly, you should have never got married to him in the first place. Yeah.
Going to have children now. It can't be 3 years from now when my chances are 5%, right?
You can't have that conversation because it's hard for you to get through to him. I'm just asking questions I thought a best friend would want to know about the husband of her best friend. I'm worried not what if basically that conversation never happens. And
I tell you what I find very, very interesting about this best friend though. So this is a best friend. So why is it Shaeeda was not having a conversation with her best friend this whole time before the marriage? Yes, we know her friend couldn't attend the marriage. No worries. The wedding, sorry. No worries. But surely you was communicating. Why didn't these conversations happen already with your best friend? You can't be best friends if you and your best friend didn't even have these conversations before you got married. This best friend's probably like an extra or something like that because, man, something just doesn't fit.
You know, you never have those two things in your not fulfilled. What's going to happen next, you know? I think Shannon needs to get through to him. At the moment, I don't think that's happening. So, the yoga studio, that was your condition as well?
Yes.
You spoke to him about having a studio now?
Right now? Because I don't have credit in America, he says he cannot do anything right now when it comes to setting up a studio for me. But it's still in the process. I cannot judge him and say he doesn't want to give me a studio now. Still premature.
I hear what you're saying. You're trying to be positive and optimistic to get the yoga studio. But I really hope he understands how important family is because you've never had kids before. So, you need to disarm him. What I mean is, make him not be so comfortable, hon. He's very comfortable. That's why you can't get through to him. But he needs to think as well. what could she do? Right now, that thought is not in his mind. You never give him any doubts. Do you get what I mean?
Divorce is never a good option for a Muslim.
No,
you know?
I'm not suggesting that.
It's always your last option, so you try to work it out. That's
I
really
wouldn't.
hard.
I'm not suggesting that you should do that. But I think you've waited all these years, and I think he deserves to understand that and to give you everything, right? I want what's best for you, and I want this to work out. You deserve a family. It's what you've always wanted, right?
Yeah.
What you always told me, and I believe that you should get that. He needs to uphold his end of the bargain.
Even after what happened last night, I do trust Utrus. She's my best friend, and she was coming with good intentions. And I still need Utrus as my advocate because I have been trying to have this conversation with Bilal, but it's always fallen on deaf ears. So I hope Utrus can convince Bilal to open his heart because every time I blink my eyes, I hear tick-tock. I feel as if I continue to wait, I could wait for a lifetime.
Rhythm with this, rhythm with this, rhythm with that. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, at the end of the freaking day, like, yo, we can't be serious here because these conversations and this whole thing about disarming him and all that kind of stuff, these are the things that you try out before you get engaged to someone. In fact, you can even try these things out even before you become official as well. So putting these things into place now, you might as well be prepared for a divorce, because if it doesn't go well, a divorce is what's going to be needed. And this whole thing with the friend, she's saying, I hope my friend can get through to him. Bilal doesn't like your friend, so he has no hope. Your friend has no hope of getting through to him. Wow, man, just playing with fire for the sake of it. I mean, listen, low key, man. I feel like this friend's just an extra, man. Like just someone who they recruited who's an actor to be. I don't think that she's actually a real friend, to be honest with you. Something doesn't really fit right. But anyway, we continue.
You remember our dinner with Utrus?
Of course.
I think you have offended her, and she has said some things that she's.
I offended Utrus?
She felt offended. She didn't like when you called her nosy. She feel like that was disrespectful.
She asked about, can we talk about me and you? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. However, some things are husband and wife stuff. It would be nice if she gave an apology.
I think you guys should have a conversation. She's downstairs in the terrace. So I really want to get my best friend and my husband on the same page.
I'm 100% open to doing it. But it would be nice if I can maybe get an apology.
Be nice.
I'm always nice.
Last night didn't go as planned. The whole trip was for us just to kind of coexist and have a good time, you know. And Utrus is Shaeeda's best friend, you know, my wife's best friend. I would love for we all to be friends, but I do think that she's overstepping some boundaries.
The problem is, Bilal, is that yes, she's overstepping boundaries, but she's overstepping boundaries because your wife has given her permission to do it. So really and truly, Shaeeda is the one that needs to tell her friend to back off. And Shaeeda is the one that needs to apologize to both of you, to be honest with you, for putting you in this situation, because she's the one that tried to ambush you with her friend. That's the crazy part. This is all your wife's doing, bro. Like, trust me, this woman didn't come out of nowhere and just start doing these things out of madness because of what your wife has said. And Shaeeda blatantly said last episode as well that she's hoping that her friend can get through to him. Bloody hell.
Was pretty hostile, and so there's no smiling or anything from her. But I'm here to make peace and try to set the record straight that Shaeeda's in good hands. Hello, how are you doing? Don't stand up, sit down. You're good, yeah. How are you doing? You're enjoying this beautiful weather?
Yes,
Isn't it good? Pretty nice.
It's nice. It's a beautiful setting. How are you?
I'm doing good.
I didn't really see Bilal last night, to be honest. I think some things was said and it made myself and Shaeeda uncomfortable. I'm sure yourself as well.
I know for sure I was like in a more of a joking mode, and I apologize if that came out a different way.
Right. I don't know how I can leave America and go back to England, feeling comfortable that my friend is in a happy marriage. She's not forthcoming with answers, for what reason I'm not sure about. So I need him to give me the answers because I feel like he is the issue here. There was like a couple of questions I kind of wanted a little bit more clarity on, if that's okay with you. You mentioned something about a prenup. to me. And I think she couldn't, well, he's kind of suggested to wait for kids like 3 years. And about having her yoga space being.
Bring up the conversation about a prenup with whether there's an apology or not, like the conversation's going south regardless. Man doesn't want to know about no freaking prenup. Get the hell out of here. Like Bilal said, some conversations are okay to have, some conversations they're just for you and I. But at the same time though, Bilal's family, actually then again, I was going to say but Bilal's family had their say, but then again, Bilal's family only had their say on the prenup because Shaeeda was going to them personally and asking them for their own freaking opinion. So yeah, Shaeeda's been instigating this whole prenup thing since day. Like, oh my goodness gracious me. That's a very good point. Bilal does keep things close to himself, to be honest. If it's her that does the madness.
And I asked her today, okay, so when are you going to get the yoga to you? And from what I heard from her today, I don't know if she's being covered the way I think she should be covered.
One, that was something I was going to do regardless. Owning a business is a little bit something different. You got to get a business license. You have to get business credit, which takes time. Furthermore, too, we really never said yoga studio. We said getting your yoga business off the ground. That means helping her with her websites and marketing and all that other different stuff.
Shaeeda is under the impression that Bilal is giving her a physical space. However, from what I just heard, he's promising her websites and internet, web pages. And maybe she doesn't understand what he's coming from. I think he should have been a bit more forthcoming and transparent with her.
Well, let's just say communication hasn't been their best area of life. And misunderstandings are a common thing in their relationship. And also, it's interesting and it's kind of good the conversation's gone this way. It's going to be interesting to see how she's going to have a conversation with Shaeeda moving forward now. The bestie, clearly.
What about that? She had a doctor told her in 3 years, there's a 5% chance she may conceive.
I've always wanted more children, all right? But at the same time, what I am telling her is that a year and a half, could be 2 years from now, whatever, we start working on it.
She told me, like, she is really eager to start a family with you. She feels like she's ready for that.
The 3 years would say that, we didn't say that we were going to wait 3 years. This says that we have up to 3 years. That to say like, okay, let's have a child. Because guess what? Once you have a child,
Bilal's manipulating that word in there though. He flipped it. I see what he's doing there. Sly.
say the child is there, you can't take it back.
So, what if Shaeeda was to tell you that she's pregnant in 6 months' time?
Like, no stretch of the imagination are we trying her to have children.
Okay.
But if it was a situation where she's like, hey,
She's pregnant.
I'm pregnant, 6, 7 months from now, whatever.
Great.
Alhamdulillah, all praise be to God.
Okay, that's good. So, they're not planning to have the baby, but if the baby happens, it's the will of God. So, I'm thinking, tomorrow when I speak to Shaeeda, tell her she could forget to take her birth control pills. That way, she could get pregnant. And Bilal said he'll be happy, and I know definitely Shaeeda will be happy. Problem solved.
I mean, I don't want to have a child in 6 months.
Well, like I said, just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right, okay. That's good to know.
Wow, like, Shaeeda tells her friend everything. I'm surprised that she knows, like, hey, like, when it comes to, like, our behind the doors activity of, like, we're trying to conceive or when we're not trying to conceive, and whatever she has to tell me, that's not going to change my mind per se.
You got me all the way messed up. So she's going to encourage her friend to not take the pill. So she can just get pregnant like that. People wonder why there's so many kids in this world who are just coming from broken homes. Well, that's not a good friend. And if Shaeeda actually listens to her friend, pathetic. Either way, you guys let me know what you're thinking down below in the comment section. But for me, myself in particular, I'm not impressed. The conversation was kind of going well because they didn't go all crazy, but the fact that she's willing to tell her friend to manipulate him, to basically not take birth control so she can get pregnant off the whim, stupidity. Nonetheless, though, don't forget to like, subscribe, and peace.